Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Welcome to 100 Songs That Define Heavy Metal. I'm your host, Brian Slagel. I'm the CEO of Metal Blade Records. You can go to metalblade.com if you would like more information on what that's all about. The next time you're in Las Vegas, or if you currently live in Las Vegas or the Las Vegas area, you need to visit the Metal Blade Museum. Now, not only are there artifacts from Metal Blade artists like Metallica, Slayer, Cannibal Corpse, Gwar, Lizzie Borden, there's also artifacts from bands that we had something to do with as well, like Guns N' Roses, Megadeth, Alice in Chains, Deep Purple, Thin Lizzy, Alice Cooper, all sorts of stuff. So it's a really great metal museum. It's located right near the Strip in Las Vegas. Also, our retail store is also now in the museum. So you can go pick up your Metal Blade vinyl, CDs, collectibles, shirts, all sorts of cool stuff. Just go to metalblade.com/museum for all the details. And we're going to talk about one of the songs that really started the entire genre, Black Sabbath's N.I.B., from the very first Black Sabbath record, which was recorded in a day, which is still blows my mind that something so landmark was recorded in a day. We're going to talk to our friend Mark Lewis about the production of it. Then we're going to bring on Gloria Butler, key on the last name there. She's amazing and she's super fun to talk to. So I'm really looking forward to that. But first, let's go to Martin Popoff up there in Canada and see what he says about this incredible track.
Yes, indeed, Brian. N.I.B., totally important song in the invention of heavy metal. We're talking February 13th, 1970, a Friday the 13th. They recorded this album, Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath, an album so good they had to name it twice. So yeah, Regent sound, they put it together super fast. We know all that. So N.I.B. So this is an interesting song. Geezer talks about it like it was, he says it's about the devil falling in love and becoming a good person and all this. But you read the lyrics and it really just sounds like, the devil seducing someone into evil, into being hellish kind of thing. It's quite a evil, satanic sort of sounding song, with that creepy kind of, narrative that it's all kind of soft words used in it. So it just makes it even more unsettling. And N.I.B., as Geezer says, he just called it N.I.B. and he put the initials in there, and it didn't really mean anything other than referring to Bill Ward's beard that looked like a pen nib. And then it became Nativity in Black, which kind of makes sense. Although there's not much nativity in it, it's definitely black with the Lucifer reference in there, like very stark and open, and also sung with a lot of sort of passion. So yeah, it definitely is an unsettling song. Now, in terms of the music on here, this is almost a more important song in the invention of heavy metal than the song Black Sabbath, because it's big stacked power chords, it's up tempo. Black Sabbath is definitely an important song because it's doomy, but it's interesting and creative in how slow it is. But this is more like the prototype of Iron Man, I'd say, more than anything. Iron Man, Smoke on the Water. It's in that space between power chords and a riff. It's actually configured such that it does feel like a riff that is played on power chords, sort of thing. So yeah, it's definitely a really point blank, straightforward song in the invention of heavy metal. This album's really well produced for 1970, for a baby band in 1970 on a baby label, Vertigo, by Roger Bain, in a big hurry, working at Regent Sound, as I say, in London. But it's, it's got sufficient bottom end. It's got really, really good powerful guitars. The drums sound good. The cymbals sound good. Ozzy's mixed in really well. So yeah, super important song on really the album that is considered the album that invents heavy metal, Black Sabbath, February 13th, 1970.
Friday the 13th. I like that. That record had to come out on Friday the 13th, right? Legendary. Martin knows so much about metal and music in general. That's why we have him on here, that even he knew about the real origins of the song, which I was not quite sure of. And we'll hear about that a little later. So that's upcoming. But yeah, always great to have Martin on, and a lot of really great information. Bye.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney Plus.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team. Get new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home. Zootopia 2, now available on Disney Plus, rated PG. And right now you can get Disney Plus and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 3 months with a special limited time offer. Ends March 24th. After 3 months, plan auto-renews at $12.99 a month. Terms apply.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Him. All right, once again, we bring back our friend, Mr. Mark Lewis, who has done over 200 studio records now. Very impressive, and they're all really good too, and they all sound really good, more important.
Well, I appreciate that. You're too kind, man.
You deserve all of it, my friend. Come on.
Well, I appreciate it.
There's really not much to talk about with Black Sabbath, and we've talked about this record before on here. Not with Mark, but it's a live album, basically, is what it is. They recorded this in one day.
Yeah, I thought it was like 7 or 8 hours or something like that. Crazy, yeah.
Well, it was 12 total with the overdubs and everything else, something like that. It might have been 9 or 10 or whatever it was, but it's still, to me, insane that this landmark record, one of the most important records in, forget heavy metal, just in music in general, was basically recorded in one day. It's insane.
Yeah, and dude, I could gush about Black Sabbath forever. I mean, I got into them very young. It spoke to me immediately. Like, there was a lot of metal that I went back to because I felt like I was obligated to learn the history as a kid, because there was obviously so much little access to music compared to now. Anything I got my hands on as a kid in the 90s was a big deal. I remember hearing Black Sabbath and being like, oh, fuck, it just spoke to me so immediately. And, the guitar playing in particular. And just to start off, I mean, Tony Iommi is the most important musician, in my opinion, in rock and roll and metal, period, of the last 55, 60 years. I mean, he's it.
100% right. I mean, he basically created a genre of music, which not a lot of people can say.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just extreme metal. I mean, you could go talk to Steve Lukather as much as you could talk to Billy Joe from Green Day, as much as you could talk to James Hetfield or literally anybody who has ever rested their hand on the bridge of a guitar to palm mute a riff is gonna point you to Tony Iommi. And maybe older guys like Lukather would say, oh, the Beatles, were his big thing. But they're all going to mention Sabbath and how that was just so incredibly important in rock, period. And it's everywhere. Every song you turn on the radio now, an active rock, has a Black Sabbath fingerprint in it. And the guitar sounds, I mean, everything. And I mean, that's not to diminish the other guys because they're so incredibly important.
Well, especially this song, N.I.B. I mean, the bass intro is just incredible. And I mean, Geezer's a phenomenal bass player. And that bass intro was it's kind of unique. I mean, everything they were doing was unique because they were kind of, like I said, basically creating a genre, but you didn't hear a lot of bass solo openings to a song. And then they had that kind of weird little part after that was kind of like a phalange sort of thing. I'm not sure what it is, but it's really interesting. And again, they just probably had played one or two takes of it and that was it.
I could be wrong. I'm sure there's bass aficionados that will jump in real quick, but I mean, I don't remember times hearing, I'm trying to think of earlier times where I've heard a bass that distorted at that time.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole sound. And Geezer also mentions that, early on, a lot of bass players were doing different parts and he was just kind of like learning the bass. He played guitar prior to this. So he was new to playing bass. And he's just like, I'm basically just kind of following what Tony's doing. And that's another reason why it's so heavy because you have both the guitar and the bass pretty much doing the same thing. It just makes it a richer, fuller sound. And it does kind of make sense.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just epic. And I would love to dig in more to that. I always wondered why they cut the tracks the way they did on that first record. I love the first record, and I revisit that one a lot. It's funny. I feel like I revisit Paranoid, maybe the least out of the quote unquote big Sabbath records. But I love the sound of the first one, and I love Ozzy's voice in it. The sound of it's fantastic.
And Ozzy's voice is a little different if you notice on this. If you notice on this record from afterwards, it's a little lower. It's just a different register, which is kind of interesting. And then you go, then all of a sudden Paranoid, it's like, oh, he sounds a little bit different on here. So I mean, they're all young kids basically at the time, kind of learning their craft. Like Geezer said, I just started playing bass. So, and Ozzy was certainly not a opera type professional singer at that point.
Yeah, his ear for melody is just awesome, and just the way they put those songs together is too incredible. Yeah, it's just beyond pioneer stuff. Just Tony's ear for melody and how he did things is just second to none. I mean, he created it all.
Yeah, there's definitely no denying that. You talk to anybody, like you mentioned, it doesn't matter if it's in the metal genre or not, they all go back to Tony Iommi. I also find it very interesting that Tony Iommi's best friend is Brian May. What would a fly on the wall be like when those two are having conversations about guitar and stuff? Got to be pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, apparently, Tony and Eddie Van Halen were very close too, which I thought was fascinating. And that would be the other guy that I would say would be the most important in terms of the way the guitar is played would be Eddie, after Tony.
Yes.
Everything I see about Tony's so classy and cool. He's like the one guy that like I would just die to meet. Or just be a fly on the wall, like you said. I mean, the guy's fascinating to me. It's incredible that we still have him here on Earth, And it's crazy that Ozzy was alive until 6 months ago.
I've kind of met everybody in this world, but I've never met Tony Iommi. I know all the other guys. Tony Iommi's one of those guys though that I don't get nervous meeting people. I mean, you meet all these people all the time. They're just human beings. It's not a big deal. But Tony Iommi for me would be like, thank you for my life.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Absolutely, man.
One of my good friends who used to work with us was his assistant for a while. And it was one of those award shows where we're talking. I said, too bad you missed Tony. He just left. And I've said, I've never met him. He said, you never met Tony? I say, everybody I know that's met him said he's super cool. He's nice. I mean, I know Eddie Trunk talks to him quite a bit. And, when you hear in interviews, he's a super, super nice guy. Yeah, that would be a little nerve wracking because, it's like I said, what do you say? Like him and Mario Lemieux are the two people I don't know if I can meet because I'd just be,
I love that though. I hope, and it seems like he is. I just hope that he is as good at history as I feel like he is. His book is amazing. I love his book. Obviously, some people would be more interested in Ozzy's book if you're a little more of a layman as far as as metal is concerned, but reading his book was something else. It was great. And I hope he leaves behind a legacy of things to just kind of devour,
Sure.
as far as history,
Well, now he's doing this. There's this YouTube documentary sort of thing that he's been doing too. I haven't seen it yet. I think there's only 1 or 2 episodes, but it's supposed to be really good. So,
yeah, I got to watch that.
Yeah, it's on my list too. I will say though that of the 3 books that I've read, the Ozzy, the Tony, and the Geezer book, I like Geezer's book the best.
Interesting. I got to read that.
It's really, really great. Like that's my thing is I read rock and metal autobiographies all the time. So I've read
Same.
probably 100 of them at this point. And Geezer's in my top 10 for sure. It's a really, really great book, really well done. He comes off as a really good guy, which I know he is. But it's interesting because he's a very shy guy, so you wouldn't expect him to be so outgoing in the book. But he's great. The book is awesome. So if you have not read it yet, it's a must read. It's definitely a must read, and a lot of great Sabbath stories, obviously.
Very cool, very cool. Well, yeah. So N.I.B. I mean, insane. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, the way he did those solos.
Yep.
The dueling solos at the end, which was kind of a Tony trademark, but also just the doubling of the guitars, the way he did that. I mean, yeah, other guys had maybe done that stuff, but nothing sounded that big and that heavy. Just the riffs, man, the riffs, they're still just the top of the heap stuff. And his playing is so emotional. I mean, I got lucky to see them. I saw them reunite in the late 90s, and then I was on the Ozfest tour in 2005. So I've seen the original lineup probably like 45, 50 times or something,
Nice.
I would never miss watching it. The solo sections he would do in those shows when, the 90s and early 2000s, it was just like every night I would watch him and get chills. It was just like, God damn, this guy just like has it all.
Yeah, the whole band. I mean, they're all just, and that's what makes it work, right? You've got to have, in their case, 3 incredible musicians that kind of play off each other, and each one individually is a master at what they do, and you put them all together, you have this amazing thing. So yeah, good stuff. It all recorded in 12 hours. Still kind of blows me away, but
yeah, unreal.
Yeah. Anyway, Mark, thank you so much. Always good to see you, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
You too, man. Thanks for having me.
Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25. Ends 4/30/26. See app for details.
This episode is brought to you by Alexa Plus. Say hello to Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do more for you. Need tickets to that last-minute show? Craving your favorite restaurant? Sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. Alexa learns your preferences to create a personalized experience. And now, Alexa Plus is free with Prime on your Amazon devices, like Echo and Fire TV. Learn more at amazon.com/Alexa Plus.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew, too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
Hey everyone, Brian Slagel here, founder of Metal Blade Records. I spent my whole entire life trying to make metal history and make metal better and promote metal as much as I can. And now there's a brand new way for you to test your metal knowledge and relive those iconic moments. It's called Metal Mondays, the official metal trivia game from Metal Blade and Pantheon Media, and it's free to play right now. Every Monday, a new game drops. From Slayer, Supremacy to Death, Metal 101, 80s, Metal Blade Classics, and tons more. You'll battle it out on the leaderboards, win killer prizes, and even score some exclusive Metal Blade merch. So if you think you know your riffs, your legends, and your deep cuts, prove it. Download, hit replay on the App Store or Google Play, or head to metalbladerecords.com/Metal Mondays and start playing today. Because in metal, there's no off days, only Metal Mondays. Metal Mondays. Play loud, play true, and play to win. All right, now we welcome in a music industry veteran. She managed the band Heaven and Hell, amazing band. She has a phenomenal podcast called Gabbing with Girlfriends that I've been lucky enough to be on several times. And she's married to a guy who is one of the biggest legends in rock and heavy metal history. He's a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you look at her last name, you can probably figure it out. Gloria Butler, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, Brian. How are you? And thanks for those kind words. That's very sweet.
I'm just making it up in my head, so it sounds good. But you did all those things, so it's all good. It's all good. So I was going to ask my first question, which I think you just ruined it for me prior to this, was I was because you said that you don't have as much knowledge about this song as one might think. So I was going to ask you if you could, and I don't think you can, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Can you explain to us or tell us what NIB stands for?
I can. I actually know that answer.
Oh, good.
Everybody thinks it stands for Nativity in Black. Is that what you think?
Correct. Yes.
That's what everybody thinks. And there was far more mysticism with that title than the real title, which was N.I.B. The periods were only put between the letters again to make it seem like there was more of an in-depth meaning than nib.
Is nib a word in English?
It is. Oh. And nib is the end of a pen, an ink pen, like a real pen, not a ballpoint pen. Yes.
Oh.
And
old school being.
And at the time,
well, that's valuable information.
Written, Terry, my husband, and now everybody's like, oh my God, who's Terry? And why was she married to somebody named Terry and who knew and whatever? Because everybody always thinks I have a boyfriend named Terry because I have Geezer and I have Terry, but they're one and the same, as you well know.
Yes, of course. Everybody listens to podcasts, I'm sure should know that.
But anyway, he thought that Bill's beard looked like a nib, like the end of an ink pen. And I don't think that's really what they're called, ink pens, but anyway, whatever, you get the gist. But he thought that's what Bill's beard looked like and couldn't come up with a title for a song that was about falling in love with the devil. So thought he would just call it N.I.B., stick in a couple of periods, capitalize, and everybody named it themselves, Nativity in Black. Yeah. So that's it. N.I.B.
I love that's an amazing story. I love all these stories because everybody, thinks about and he was a very young man when he wrote the song, obviously, and it was the first album, so nobody had any idea what was going to happen. Little did they know it was going to become one of the most legendary records ever. So yeah, everybody kind of talks about that. I didn't go with the Nativity in Black sort of thing. It was a convenient sort of thing, but I had a feeling there was something else, and you explained it today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Breaking news here.
Yeah, that's the only answer I'm going to know, but we can keep talking about it, and I'll wing the rest of it and assume nobody will know the truth anyway.
It'll be fine. The funny thing about this song was, for whatever reason, I thought this was on Paranoid, and well, of course, when I listened to it, I realized no, it's the first album. I don't know why I thought it was on Paranoid. I think those two records are recorded very similar times and places, and they sound fairly similar. Although Ozzy's voice, I always noticed, sounds different on the first record, and then the second record and from on, it's almost like he found his range a little bit. Nobody really ever talks about that, but I noticed I don't know if it's really down an octave or maybe half an octave on the first record, but then from the second record on, it's like, oh, he's singing a little bit higher now, which was kind of interesting.
Well, that's way too technical for me and for my time. But so is it because of us speaking now that you knew which album it came from, or did you know prior to today?
Oh, I mean, I always knew, obviously, but I hadn't listened to those records for a minute or two, and just for some reason, it always struck me that was on the second record. And then I went to listen to it the other day just to brush up on it before do some research here, and I was like, oh no, wait, that's on the first record. So yeah, anyway, that's just my foggy brain with all my sinuses going on that creates these things sometimes. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so obviously the first record, for people that don't know, was recorded in like a day. And the second record, I think, was recorded in like 3 days, which is still kind of amazing to me. But when you read both Tony and Geezer's book, and by the way, I've told this to you, but Geezer's book is one of my favorite all-time rock and roll biography books. It's what I do in my spare time when I fly. I've read almost all of them that are in that world, and his book was really spectacular. I mean, Tony's book was really good too, but I actually prefer Geezer's book. And of course, they talk a lot about making these first two records, and they were so well rehearsed because they played these songs so often that when they went in to record it, it was just like it's almost like a live album kind of because they, like I said, they had a whole day to record it. It's kind of just insane when you think about that.
Could you imagine? How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's just completely none of it makes any sense. And when you look back at it now, I mean, they were basically creating a whole genre.
The record in one day genre.
Yeah, exactly. That
Did
too.
you know people don't even record a song in a day now?
No, no. I mean, even on our limited budgets in the early days, I think the fastest album we recorded, we did Show No Mercy in like 10 days by Slayer, that was
Wow, that was
fast for back then. But yeah, nobody.
10 days. That was luxury, right?
Well, yeah, we didn't have a lot of money,
No
so we had to
comparison.
go in, and I think most of the sessions were overnight. The whole thing when you're first starting out. But a lot of those all create magic. I mean, you go back to so many of these bands' first albums. Generally, they weren't big productions. They're just independent
Right.
albums, or in the case of Black Sabbath, just early on. So it's really interesting when you look back at how this stuff works and the magic that they happen. I wanted to talk a little bit about Heaven and Hell too, since you obviously were involved in that. Of course, after Ozzy left, James Dio came in, and probably, I mean, arguably my favorite metal singer. Him and Bruce Dickinson. I mean, you can go back and forth on those two, and of course, they did the two amazing, records with Sabbath, and then they came back later, and of course, they couldn't use Black Sabbath, so they used Heaven and Hell, which is actually a great name. What was that like when you were working with them and they're kind of coming back around again?
It was a really special time. Obviously, nobody knew at the time that that would be, the last thing Ronnie would do. Um, and I guess so it's easy to say in hindsight that that was a really special time, but it was. It was, everybody had grown up so much since, well, they had done an album in between Heaven and Hell, the album, and Mob Rules, the album. I think it was Cross Purposes, maybe.
Yep. Yep.
And that was one of those periods in their life where they were really just trying to see if it would work, and it kind of didn't work. But when they got back together for the band Heaven and Hell, it was really magical for them because it was no egos, no, everything was just mellow. It was just, just to see them together and laugh and, just be kind of normal, which I guess, they were at that point in their life where they were normal.
Yeah, and you could really tell that too. I went to a lot of those shows because I love those two records, and anything Ronnie's done, I love. So I went to a lot of those shows. You could kind of tell that because I saw them when they were as Black Sabbath, and it was really good. But they're playing like stadiums and
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
huge shows. And with Heaven and Hell, they were playing like 6 to 10,000 seat arenas. I think when I first
right.
saw them, which was really cool to see them in a small or still big, but still smaller environment. But you could tell they were having a lot of fun. Just on stage, they sounded great. They looked great. They played incredible. The whole thing was really good. And I don't know Tony, and I didn't really know Geezer at the time, but I knew Ronnie because we'd worked with Ronnie on some of his solo records and stuff. So I talked to him at one of the shows that might have been one of my favorite shows was in Phoenix. I just thought that show was so great. And I talked to Ronnie afterwards, and he felt, yeah, this was a really good one. So I was like, okay, good. I'm glad I was at a good one.
Isn't it amazing how you could go 5 years without seeing Ronnie, and then you walk backstage to shake his hand or give him a hug, and he'll say, "Hi, Brian," and pick up exactly where you guys left off. That is just like the most insane gift anybody could have, where you have that kind of memory for people. And he could talk about your pets and your siblings and your spouse and anything else that he could have ever once known 100 years ago, and he still knows equally
Yeah,
as well.
you're 100% right. And that always blew me away that I mean, he knew everybody. I had Wendy Dio on a few episodes ago, and I talked about that. I said the one thing that really kind of blew me away about Ronnie, of course, his incredible vocals and everything else. how talented he was. But yeah, he remembered everything. He remembered everybody, and he remembered details about you. That makes me very jealous because I'm terrible with names and that
Me
sort of
too.
thing.
Me
And
too.
he's met thousands and thousands more people than I ever have, and the fact that he could do that was just, I would just blow me away. Like we'd be backstage somewhere, and we'd be talking to him, and a couple other people come by, go, oh, and he knew their names, and like I knew who they were, but I didn't even know their names. Like,
He made you feel like you were his best friend.
yeah,
You were his only friend. It was, you know, 1000% attention right to you. And that's just so
and
special.
such a nice guy too, so
Yeah.
nice to everybody.
Yeah. Socially, he was really
Yes, yes, yes.
not
Yeah,
inferring anything else.
we know the stories. Yes.
I What really surprised me, and I didn't know this for years, is how many musicians or vocalists, whatever, didn't know about the Ozzy era Sabbath till after
Sure.
the Ronnie era Sabbath. Like that was their introduction to Sabbath was with Ronnie, and then thought, oh, and then dug out albums and
Yes.
then discovered Ozzy. Those are obviously the younger fans, but it's interesting to me because I just
Yeah, you're right about that. I always forget those sort of things because I'm old. So, of course, Black Sabbath was the second heavy band I ever heard after Deep Purple. But yeah, a lot of people came in the Ronnie era, or even Heaven and Hell, when Heaven and Hell got back together, and came in and went back and listened to this stuff. And then, oh yeah, this guy Ozzy. And I can't remember if I ever told you this story, but I don't have very many Geezer stories, but I do have one.
Uh-oh.
No, it's funny. I think it was a Foundations Forum, which was this big heavy metal convention we used to do in the late '80s and early '90s.
Bob Party.
Yeah, Bob Chiappardi. They were giving away a Lifetime Achievement Award for Dave Pritchard, who is a member of Armored Saint guitar player who passed away. So they wanted me to give the award with Geezer Butler. So I'm freaked out because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna meet this legendary guy for the first time ever, and to give this award, which the award thing is fine. I've done that a bunch of times, even back then. But when it came back, we met, whatever, 5 minutes before we're supposed to go on stage. He goes up to me, he goes, "I'm really nervous." I go, "Really? Okay." He was like, "I don't really do these sort of things. I've never done this." I said, "I got you. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine." So he was great, but I was kind of blown away because I was really nervous to meet him, and then he comes up and he was really nervous to present the award. I was like, "Oh, okay."
He's fine in front of, 100,000 people, but he really isn't good kind of just speaking. He's
Yeah.
fine behind that bass. And
Yeah, I've always heard that. That's why it was really interesting because when like I said, I've read all these autobiographies, and a lot of times the bass player ones aren't the best ones necessarily. Some are though. Geddy Lee's book is incredible too, but Geezer's book was so great, and I didn't know what to expect, but just knowing he's kind of a little bit shyer, but it was so well done and so well written, and the whole thing was really, really, really great.
he's really prolific anyway. I mean, he's a writer.
Of course.
That's
Yeah,
what
of
he
course.
does.
Well, I figured that too because I was like, "Oh, that's right. He wrote all most of these lyrics." So I guess it's not out of his realm to be writing something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, he's got a sci-fi novel in him. He's got a few things in him that hopefully will be coming out. So, yeah, he really likes to
So you
write.
wanted to mention, and again, we talk about things coming up back and forth. So yesterday, I interviewed, like I mentioned earlier, I interviewed my friend Zach Johnson, the guitar player for the Ghost Inside, and we were talking because they did a tour with Volbeat, Halestorm, and then they opened for it, and he was kind of going on and on about how great Halestorm was and how amazing Lizzie was, and they were like really great to them. All three of those bands got along really well. The Volbeat guys treated them great, and they're super nice guys too. And I never really hung out too much with the Hailstorm people, but they're super cool. And Zach, was on and on about how great they were and how cool Lizzie was, and really the whole band. And you wanted to talk about a little bit about Lizzie Hale too, and why she isn't bigger than she probably should be.
Okay, well, I will say this. Apparently, and I didn't even realize this, that Hailstorm actually supported some of the Heaven and Hell dates. Who knew? I didn't even know. I obviously didn't pay any attention. Maybe I didn't pay attention because I was very biased, thinking, oh, supporting them, she's going to be heavy, and I'm not heavy. I'm not necessarily a really heavy music fan, but she did, during this tribute, she did Neon Nights. And there are 3 Ozzy era songs that Terry played, and one Dio era song, which was Neon Nights. But everything she did that night, if it was a Paul Rogers song, just everything. Well, it was either a Paul Rogers song or a Sabbath song. She was scary good. I thought she was perfection. And I don't say that lightly. I'm really, I'm kind of, especially female vocalist snobby, but she looked great. Her vibe, her stage
Yeah.
presence, her voice, I can't fault anything. And it just amazes me that, I mean, she should have been so much bigger than she is, in my opinion, just because she's all of that. She's the whole package.
I agree 100%. I'm not the biggest Halestorm fan, but I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she's great, and the band is really good. And you're right, she's incredibly talented, especially when she does covers and stuff. You realize, whoa, she's definitely on the next level. But they're still, they're still pretty popular. They're still pretty big. I don't think that it's just my personal opinion. I don't think that they've had the right songs yet. They've got a couple of good songs, and they're good, but I think somewhere in them, they're gonna get to that space where they're gonna write like the album, like this is the album where it just kind of all comes together, and they'll get to that next level. Because I said they're still pretty big. They can headline some pretty big shows. And look, they were second to Volbeat playing all these 20,000 seat sheds that were all sold out. So they're still pretty popular. But I think they need that one, either the one or two songs, or that one or that one like really great album.
See, that's what I was thinking, is because I'm not all that familiar with the songs, with Halestorm songs. But it made me realize that, I kind of fell in love with her voice and her look and her vibe and her presence doing covers, which again were flawless. So then I decided that must be the problem. And I'm using the word problem only in my own mind, because I'm sure she doesn't think she's got a problem, but I'm sure nobody else does but me. But it seems like, that's what's missing, is whatever this song,
Yeah, that's the way I feel it too. Like I said, she's insanely talented. The one person who really loves them a lot is somebody who doesn't like a lot of things, and that's my good friend Kerry King from Slayer. He loves them. He's like a huge fan. I'm like, really? That was not something I would expect him to say, but yeah, he's really from fairly early on with them. He's always been a big fan of theirs. I'm like, oh, interesting, because I said he doesn't like a lot.
Yeah, Ronnie loved her too. Ronnie loved, because apparently they toured with
Oh yeah.
her. I had no idea, but Wendy did say that Terry knew that Ronnie really liked her, but Wendy said he used to stand on the side of the stage and just stare at her.
That's like probably the best compliment you can ever get, right? One of the most legendary singers.
Yeah.
Like watching you and
Yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty amazing. But she has that aura to her for sure. Like again, like Kerry King, the guy that doesn't like a whole lot of stuff, but he's a huge Halestorm fan. So they're still young enough in our world that they got time. Like I said, I think it's just a matter of getting the right producer, the right song, the right album, whatever it is, and it's hopefully it'll come around. Because look, the more big, hard, and heavy bands we have out there, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Me too.
Exactly.
I listen to a wide variety of music, and maybe if I would listen to more heavy music, if there are more heavy bands or more heavy bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, that's what I do. I listen to predominantly stuff from the 70s and 80s. I don't listen to a lot of the newer
Newer
stuff
heavy
as much
music. Yeah.
as I probably should. But yeah, if it's for business or whatever, yeah, I listen to that stuff, and I have to check things out, just even if it's not on our label, just to see what's going on out there. But if I'm going to be driving somewhere, or something, I put on my iPad, which is, like I said, 70s, 80s pretty much.
So what category would you put Ghost in?
Good question. They started out with us, so I have a very large opinion about that. I think that they're still a metal band, but they're a band that's, I mean, look, anything that's really big, right? You're gonna have people that love it and people that hate it. I love that. I want, if you're gonna have an opinion, I want you to either love a band or hate them. One of the two. The whole middle, like, yeah, they're okay. That's like the worst reaction you could have, right?
I get it. I
Yeah.
agree.
So that's with Ghost. Like I personally love them to death. I love everything they've done. I love the whole thing. That there's a lot of people that don't, including a lot of people that were really in on them in the early days when we had them, because they were a little heavier and a little more, well, very underground, obviously. And as they kind of got bigger, some people kind of fell out thought it was like too much shtick, which there for a minute there was a little too much shtick, and I actually called Tobias out on that when they did a headline tour and they played Vegas. It was like they played 3 hours. Like, I mean, Iron Maiden's my favorite band. I don't want to see Iron Maiden play 3 hours. It's just too long.
Nobody should do anything for more than 90 minutes, whatever it is.
2 hours is okay. I can deal with that, but three is just too much. And there's some sticky stuff. So I saw they were opening for Maiden at that point. When the next time I saw Tobias, and I go, "Yeah, I saw that Vegas show. That was a pretty long show." He's like, "Yeah, probably a little too long for our fans." I go, "You think?" But I think they're a metal band. I think specifically the last two records they've done have been phenomenal. I think pretty much every song on those records are great. And I still love them. I love the show. The shows were a little darker this time around, because they kind of had some campiness to them before that they kind of turned around. And this one's a lot heavier, a lot more serious, which this is the sort of stuff I like. But it was still really, really good. And I mean, look, I just love the fact I still blows me away. Like when I first heard that record, I was like, there's something really special here. I knew it was going to be good, and I knew they had something there. I could not have predicted they'd be, headlining arenas and having, the first 10 rows of fans are 16-year-old girls dressed in nun outfits or whatever. But the internet, but no, I love them, and I think it's great. And I guess they're taking a nice hiatus now for a while. So, we'll see what goes on there. I think Tobias was talking about doing one of his like a heavier thing, a side project sort of thing. But we'll see. Where do you stand on Ghost?
Love, 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 love. And I really, really like the music. And the theatrics of it is always entertaining to me. So when you have good music and good vocals and good visual, I mean, there's this theatrics, in my opinion. I didn't see the last tour, any of the shows on the last tour. But when you have that kind of combination, you really can't go wrong, in my opinion, because you're playing to such a vast spectrum of people when you have all those things. And so I think being girly, the theatrics part of it is so appealing.
Is Tobias aware of your love for Ghost?
I think so. Yeah, we've seen him and met him a few times. So yeah, I think so. But
otherwise, I was going to tell him because I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear that.
No, my husband really is. He really is too. But
that's the right answer.
Yes, he's loved in this household.
Good. So we'll switch it around to what we talk about a lot when I do your podcast, and we talk a lot about Las Vegas, where I live most of my time, and you live part of your time there. So anything fun and exciting going on in Vegas for you guys upcoming?
Well, Metallica coming up.
Yep.
And I'll probably
if you have an extra ticket, let me know.
Sure, right. I'll probably go see No Doubt. Because
it's weird about that because like I want to go too. I mean, I saw them in the early days back early, so I've always been a big fan. But it's interesting that they're calling it No Doubt because it really is just this Gwen Stefani thing. I was watching; they're playing all her hits and everything. They are playing some No Doubt stuff, obviously, but because when I saw No Doubt, I go, "Can they No Doubt really do Sphere?"
Yeah.
But they're doing all of Gwen Stefani's big hits. Okay, now it makes sense to
yeah, because really, No Doubt, the only song I know, there's loads, but the only one that always comes to mind for me is "I'm Just a Girl."
Yeah, that was the big No Doubt. For sure.
Because at the time I was managing the band Gravity Kills, and they did a lot of radio shows together. So I was listening to that song all the time. I think I'll go, but I'll definitely go see Metallica. And I can't believe how many restaurants are here it seems like restaurants in every city seem to be closing. And it seems like weekly there's a new restaurant here.
It's really interesting. There's just so many new restaurants and bars too. Like the big thing now is the Arts District had all these really cool new bars. There's a Viking bar down there. There's another one that I've been to that's cool called Stray Pirate. There's another one that's called Dark Sister that's like a kind of witchy vibe to it. So all these like really cool bars in the Arts District, and restaurants too. I mean, there's so many. That's the problem with Vegas is there's too many good restaurants here. So
well, it's like every fine dining establishment throughout the world has a restaurant here.
Yep.
It's there's a restaurant that my son in London not frequents, but has been to a few times and said as soon as it opens, you've got to go. You're going to love it. And it's open at the Aria called Gymkhana.
Oh, yeah. I've heard nothing but great things about it. That's on my list.
Yeah. Well, start booking in May because I don't even know if there's a table before then.
Luckily, I have a lot of connections at Aria. So yeah, because Javier's is at Aria, which is incredible, and that's another one you can't really get into. But luckily, my best friend is my favorite restaurant, and that's at Park MGM, and that same thing you can't get in there. But luckily, I have some ins here, so
well, good to know.
Get in.
Good to know.
Yes.
But,
Plus, my assistant worked on the TV show Chopped, so she could.
she did?
She's gotten me into a couple
I
places.
love that. That was one of my faves.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
Food
yeah.
Network junkie.
She was the woman that created the whole thing's assistant for a long time. So
Wow, very nice.
yeah, but she's a metalhead, so she's in the metal world now. So she's happier doing that.
Yeah. Definitely never-ending shopping. I'm not a shopper. Never-ending eater. I'm there. And never-ending entertainment. It's pretty amazing. Did you ever see Absinthe? Did I
Have I seen Absinthe? I have seen Absinthe 43 times.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. When I first moved here, when I first moved here, that was one of the first shows I went to. Some of my friends said, "You got to go to the show." And I was in pain from laughing so hard at that show. And every time you go, it's different. And same thing, my girlfriend's a huge fan too. She's been like 20 times or something. But yeah, I was taking you come into town. What show do you want to see? We're going to see Absinthe. And okay, what is that? Just go, you'll enjoy it. And it's so incredible. Every show is different because they rotate the acts and the hosts always have different. They go on different tangents in what they do, but it's so funny. It's so funny.
The first time I ever saw it was in Los Angeles. Funnily enough, it was I don't even know where. Maybe like in the parking lot.
Yeah, they did some stuff in LA for a while. Yes.
So I went there with my friend Risa, whose son played hockey, who you've talked to before.
Yep.
And she brought Diane Warren and I, and Diane has about as much attention span as I do. So I'm like, we get there and I'm like, how long does this last? And I'm already dreading it because I have to sit someplace and whatever. We didn't want it to end. We were both like, well, all three of us, but Risa had seen it before. She saw it like 2 nights before. We were crying and hurting by time. I mean, it was just the funniest thing ever. So same thing. I have somebody comes into town and I drag him there. And funnily enough, do you know Jane Andrews?
Yes.
Anyway, she was here and I said, you've got to go see this. She said, what is it? And I said, I can't really explain it because you can't explain it.
No. It's better if you don't explain it, I think.
Yeah, because you kind of think, is it a Cirque thing meets a burlesque thing meets a comedy thing? You just don't know how to do it. So, But anyway, I said, I don't really know how to explain it. If you don't like it, we'll leave. It's no big deal. And then I thought, because I never quite know what her personality's like. You know what I mean? She's kind of Jane.
Yeah, I don't know her personally, but of course I know who she is. And,
but we went and she loved it. It's like, no matter who you take, no matter if you think they're going to think it's funny or if you think they're going to think it's disgusting or if you think they're not going to get it, you're wrong.
You just have to make sure that they're not easily offended and then you're good.
That covers all my friends.
Well, we could do this all day, but we have time constraints here thanks to the Pantheon people. No offense, Pantheon people. But thank you so much for doing this. This is great.
Okay, and anytime you want to talk about N.I.B. again, let me know because I have tons to say.
Yeah, no, you breaking news. I like it.
Oh, I loved this. Thank you so much, Brian. And I look forward to our next podcast chat.
That'll do it. Another super fun episode. Thanks so much to Gloria Butler for coming on. Mark Lewis is always talking production. Martin Popoff, which his incredible knowledge of metal is really unsurpassed, I think. Lizzie Borden for our theme song and the producer that keeps everything going, Mr. Christian Blatt. We'll see you guys next episode. 100